display draws attention because it's just something that everyone can appreciate. The show is free to the general public and goes through April 28th, at which point we assume the peeps will be even more inedible.
Exactly.
I was thinking, do they still make those? But I was thinking of those Valentine candies.
Right.
They'll make those peeps.
The peeps are alive and
They're
well.
just marshmallows, right?
Yeah, sugar covered.
Put them in the microwave, that whole thing. That's art too. All right, that's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll be back here again tomorrow. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now, a state representative and other supporters are unveiling the latest proposal to fully legalize marijuana in Wisconsin. We'll tell you what it includes.
Due to snowmelt and possible storms, officials are warning that the Wisconsin River will continue to rise. We'll have a live report from Portage.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
And thanks for staying with News 3 Now. Supporters have high hopes that marijuana could become fully legalized across Wisconsin.
A new proposal was unveiled today at the state capitol amid growing public. Schmidt explains the bill's chances with a Republican-controlled state legislature. Rose?
Yeah, so Democratic Representative Melissa Sargent is making a fourth go at introducing a bill to fully legalize marijuana in this state. But her plan faces hurdles, or what she calls mountains, from Republican leaders.
She understands everything. She is smart, but her expressive language is difficult.
The queen bee of her household, 10-year-old Nora Lau, has something to say.
I just want to be able to try the same medicine that my friends are trying.
But she says it in a different way from you and me.
When you talk to her, she looks at you for yes and looks away for no if she doesn't have her machine that she can specifically talk to you.
Nora was diagnosed with a neurological disorder called Rett syndrome 8 years ago. Her parents say she's found some relief from seizures and pain through CBD, but they believe marijuana could provide much larger benefits.
Let me ask you this in a different way, maybe. If I told a diabetic today that they could extract insulin from a plant they could grow in their backyard, would you prevent them from doing that too?
Her father is calling for full marijuana legalization in the form of a bill from Democratic Representative Melissa Sargent. Sargent is highlighting the jobs and economic benefits that legalization could create in Wisconsin.
Public support, both nationally and right here in the great state of Wisconsin, is at an all-time high.
But that's not the case in the state legislature. Republican Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald says he doesn't support any legalization, while Speaker Robin Vos says he would be open to a limited form of medical marijuana, but says recreational use will never.
The latest Marquette Law School poll showed 83% of people say medical marijuana with a doctor's note should be legalized. 59% say they support full legalization. Democratic Governor Tony Evers included legalization of medical marijuana in his state budget proposal, but his office did not respond to my request for comment about whether he would support Sargent's bill advocating for full legalization.
Rose, thanks.
Wisconsin State Patrol troopers arrested a wanted man today. This was after a high-speed chase. The U.S. Marshal's Office reached out to the State Patrol and told them a wanted man out of Maryland was in the area about 3 this afternoon. The Marshals had pinged his phone. It said he was in Sparta. They warned troopers that he was known to be armed and would likely have drugs with him. Troopers located the car driving on the interstate toward Madison. When troopers tried to stop the driver, he took off at speeds nearly 120 miles per hour. After multiple attempts, officers used spikes to stop the vehicle just south of River Road in Windsor. Troopers arrested the wanted man. He's now being held in the Dane County Jail. Today, we are learning more about multiple alleged sexual assaults that took place on a school-sponsored field trip for Beloit Memorial students.
This includes potential misinformation from a police report. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with the latest. Adam?
Well, Eric and Susan, we finally heard back from administrators at the school district of Beloit, although they are not saying much of anything at all. In a written statement to News 3 Now, they say they're not able to disclose any information about this because the student accused is a minor. The student in question was accused of sexually assaulting 3 girls over multiple days on a school-sponsored field trip. Students I spoke with today say they want this boy held responsible.
I want him to be punished. I want him to be expelled because he shouldn't be at our school when he just sexually assaulted 3 girls on a trip that their parents sent them on that they thought they would be safe.
The student I spoke with today says that to her knowledge, the boy accused is already back in school. The The school district of Beloit says they can neither confirm nor deny that information. And again, there was some discrepancy with the original police report from the Orange County Sheriff's Office in Orlando. In that report, it says parents were notified by police and they asked not to press charges. Today, we learned from their public information officers down there that it was the school chaperones who were notified, who then told police parents had no intentions of pressing charges.
Adam Duxter, live in Janesville. Adam, thank you.
All right, let's get a look at your first alert weather as we look forward to a holiday weekend warm-up. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti now on the weather patio. Gary?
A little different than yesterday. Skies are cloudy. It's been rather chilly. Most of the shower activity, though, has stayed away from southern Wisconsin. Let's start out by taking a look at visible cloud tracking. You can see plenty of clouds swirling across the Midwest, and that really put a damper on the temperatures today. But on Doppler track, most of the showers are east of Wisconsin through Michigan and Indiana moving away. There are a few sprinkles over parts of Minnesota, but those have been really falling apart as they drop to the south. So I don't have any rain in the forecast for tonight, even though the clouds will linger for much of the night. On Doppler track, southern Wisconsin pretty much free of precipitation, although it is chilly. These are current temperatures. 44 right now in Madison, 46 Milwaukee, 49 in La Crosse. The cloud cover really just keeping temperatures down. And winds are also rather brisk, generally in the 10 to 20 mile per hour range. Those winds will remain brisk overnight, seeing a few gusts up to around 25 miles per hour in a few spots. By tomorrow morning, temperatures will be down into the upper 30s. Skies will start to clear toward tomorrow morning and then quickly turn mostly sunny for tomorrow. Now, it'll still be windy, but just getting the sunshine back will bring our high temperature back up to 57 degrees. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
All right, Gary, thank you. Flooding concerns to our north as the Wisconsin River continues to rise.
And both Adams County and Columbia County officials have sent out alerts there to residents. Our Keely Arthur joins us in Portage with a look at things right now. Keely?
Well, this is an area that is no stranger to flooding. As you can see, water is starting to encroach on some of these properties. Residents here saying the river has risen quite a bit even since yesterday, and officials concerned it's going to get worse. They say melting snow and recent storms will make the river continue to rise. As of this morning, the river is at 17 feet, which is considered action stage. That's the high water level stage just before flood stage. Now, by this Saturday, April 20th, it's predicted to be at 20 feet. That level is considered a major flooding stage. Officials are acting right now and have already shut down some minor roads in Portage, especially near Black Hawk Park, an area that often floods. Now, sandbags are available to residents at the Columbia County Highway Shop in Wyocena. If you see water on the road, follow the golden rule: turn around, don't drown. Now, as of just 6 inches of moving water can sweep a car off the road, so be very careful. Over in Adams County, similar problems, similar precautions being taken. Officials out there say if you were thinking of maybe going out on the river this weekend, try to rethink things. The current could be very strong at that point. Back to you.
All right, Keely, thank you very much. Foxconn Technology Group says it remains committed to long-term job creation in Wisconsin. That's the day after Governor Evers said it was unrealistic to expect the company could employ 13,000 people as originally promised. Foxconn did not mention that 13,000 number in its statement today. It could get nearly $3 billion in state tax credits if it employs that many people and also invest $10 billion on the Wisconsin project. However, the liquid crystal display factory it is building in the state is much smaller than what was originally planned when the contract was first written. And Governor Evers said Wednesday the state is looking to revisit that contract.
Cory Booker will be the 5th Democratic presidential contender to campaign in Wisconsin in advance of the 2020 election. Booker's campaign website says the New Jersey senator will hold a discussion on preventing gun violence in Milwaukee on Tuesday. 4 Democratic contenders have already visited Wisconsin, including Senators Bernie Sanders and Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota, former Congressman Beto O'Rourke of Texas, and San Antonio Mayor Julian Castro. President Trump holds a rally in Green Bay on April 27th.
A new state grant aims to offer support to the dairy industry in Wisconsin. Governor Evers announced the UW-Madison campus is the recipient of that grant, $750,000 to help establish the Beverage Innovation Center, which is a new center for excellence that will be housed in the Center for Dairy Research on the UW campus. Governor Evers says it will be a collaborative effort that will provide small businesses and entrepreneurs with the resources they need to translate their ideas into products.
At a time when Wisconsin dairy farmers are facing milk surplus, obviously, and lower revenues, this Center for Excellence will provide dairy farmers with new avenues to pursue innovation in the beverage industry.
Governor Evers says in the present budget there is $150 million for the UW system that could be used for a dairy innovation hub.
In more local news today, local business and community leaders in Sun Prairie are breaking ground for a new Boys and Girls Club. The nonprofit is turning a former church on Windsor Street into a daycare and youth center. The club bought the 26,000 square foot facility for $1.2 million. Michael Johnson, CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County, says the Boys and Girls Club in Sun Prairie will serve 125 people every single day.
From arts to tutorial support to after-school recreational programs, keeping young people engaged, out of trouble, safe, and also helping teenagers find employment opportunities in this community.
There will be an open house on April 23rd and 25th for the facility. Johnson says it will be up and running by January of 2020.
New U.S. Census Bureau figures show Dane County led the state in population growth last year. The county added almost 6,000 people, and overall Wisconsin gained about 21,500 to remain the 20th most populous state. Milwaukee County lost about 2,400 residents. The State Journal reports that since the beginning of the decade, just over half of Wisconsin's 72 counties have grown, adding about 147,000 people. The rest, mainly rural counties to the north, saw a combined decline of about 19,500 residents.
A day many locals anticipate through the cold winter months is finally here. The chairs are back at the Memorial Union Terrace today. Students rushed to grab the Sunburst chairs starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon. The 2019 Terrace season will include Terrace After Dark's music and movie series. There will also be yoga on the terrace, paddling rentals, and arts and crafts event. Bucky is excited. Later this season, the Brat Stand, the Barbecue Stand, the Lakeview Lounge, and the Sunset Lounge will all be open.
Bucky at least was warm.
Yeah, everybody's all bundled up today.
With his thick coat there. All right, more to come on News 3 Now at 5. Up next, Attorney General William Barr has released a redacted version of the Mueller report. Hear what Wisconsin U.S. Senator Ron Johnson is saying about it.
A New Jersey man has been charged with attempted arson after an alleged incident at the historic St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City.
And the markets are now closed for the weekend in observance of Good Friday. The Dow up 110 points. The Nasdaq gains 2. The S&P 500 added 5. And we'll be right back. After 2 years of investigation, a redacted version of the Mueller report is finally out. It is posted on the special counsel's website.
The 400-page report was delivered to Congress on a CD-ROM. The Attorney General says it found no evidence of collusion or obstruction by the President of the United States. But the report points to 10 episodes for possible obstruction, including the president's firing of FBI Director James Comey. And it suggests that the president tried to seize control of the Russia probe. When the president found out a special counsel had been appointed, he told then Attorney General Jeff Sessions, quote, "This is terrible. This is the end of my presidency."
Every American should be glad, should be happy the fact that no American, not just members of the Trump administration or their campaign, no American colluded with the Russians. This was strictly a Russian intelligence operation, which we need to take seriously.
Democrats want the full unredacted report and to hear from Mueller directly. Attorney General Barr says he will allow congressional leaders to see a less redacted version of the report.
A New Jersey man has been charged with attempted arson after he allegedly brought gasoline and lighters into St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York. Officials say 37-year-old Mark Lamparello parked his minivan outside the historic cathedral just before 8 last night. He then tried entering the building carrying 4 gallons of gas, 2 bottles of lighter fluid, and 2 butane lighters. He was quickly stopped by security inside.
A Paris police official says investigators believe an electrical short circuit is most likely what caused the Notre Dame Cathedral fire. The cathedral fire happened Monday, and officials are still assessing the extent of the damage. Flames destroyed most of the 800-year-old landmark's roof, including its 300-foot spire. Nearly $1 billion has been raised to rebuild the cathedral. The French president is vowing to do it in 5 years.
Samsung's highly anticipated foldable phone is about to hit the market, but there are reports of some major glitches. Several tech experts who were sent the phone to review are seeing serious issues. Problems started for Bloomberg Tech's Mark Gurman when he took off a protective layer.
Samsung says you're not supposed to peel off the protective layer, but I did because it appeared like any other protective layer that
And after that, the screen no longer worked. In a statement, Samsung says, quote, "We will thoroughly inspect these units in person to determine the cause of the matter. Experts say if you're thinking of getting a Fold, you might want to wait a little to make sure some of those glitches in these devices are not widespread."
Let's get a check on the weather now. Gary is here in the studio. Gary?
Well, a lot cooler than yesterday. Temperatures are being held down because of the cloud cover. You can see it's pretty widespread across the Midwest. But notice out to the west, toward the Twin Cities, west of Eau Claire, starting to see some breaks in the clouds, and skies are clearing out pretty nicely to the north. So tomorrow, I think we'll see those skies turn sunny very quickly, and that will warm our temperatures up. Most of the shower activity well to the east of us, across Michigan and Indiana. There have been a few sprinkles over parts of southern Minnesota, but even those are starting to fall apart. The air a little bit drier over western Wisconsin, so I'm not expecting any rain for tonight. Now, as far as the last 48 hours, most of the rain fell in the northern portion of Wisconsin, about an inch or two up there. There was an area of about 3 to 4 inches where some repeated thunderstorm activity caused some flash flooding out toward Hudson and areas south of the Twin Cities yesterday. But for the most part, our rain light enough that it's not really going to represent any problems with flooding, but some of the rain up north will eventually work its way into the Wisconsin River, start working southward, and that's why we may see some flooding problems down toward Columbia County in the next couple of days. Live view from the Queen Bee Radio Skycam in Platteville, looking toward the southwest, still mostly cloudy there, can't find any sun. The WISC Skycam looking off toward the east, mostly cloudy skies there. The Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison, look at the waves coming in on the south end of Lake Mendota toward the UW campus. High today, 59 degrees, but that was early this morning. Low temperature 43, and we've been hovering around that much of the day. We're at 44 right now. Skies are mostly cloudy, winds out of the north-northwest at 12 miles per hour, and the humidity at 73%. Temperatures right now in the 40s through much of Wisconsin, barely 40 in the northern part of the state. But you can certainly tell where the sun is, because once you get rid of the clouds, those temperatures start jumping up into the 50s. But compared to 24 hours ago, our temperatures about 15 to almost 25 degrees colder, whereas to our north and west, where that cold front already had gone through, those temperatures are already starting to warm up, and that's what we'll look forward to for tomorrow. Upper level winds still from the southwest, even though the winds at the ground have shifted to the south. Our weather system from yesterday heading off to the east. There'll be some severe weather down through parts of the Gulf Coast and heading toward the east coast over the next day or two. But out to the west, a pretty large area of high pressure aloft, keeping the weather very quiet. So as we head toward the Easter holiday weekend, our weather should stay pretty nice. We'll look for dry weather for tomorrow, Saturday, and probably most, if not all, of Easter Sunday. But But right now, the showers out to the west, heading to the south, those won't affect us. And then high pressure to the north will gradually build in. And some of these 50s out to the west will move in for tomorrow. 60s won't be far behind. And on Sunday, I'm thinking high temperatures on Easter Sunday could be up around 70 degrees or a little bit above. So on future track, notice the clouds clearing out late tonight. And then tomorrow we're back to sunny skies. And just that alone will get temperatures up into the upper 50s. Our forecast for tonight, mostly cloudy skies. Breezy, cooler, low temperature dropping to 37 degrees. For tomorrow, look for a high of 57 degrees. The skies turn mostly sunny. It'll be rather windy, but the wind should start to diminish in the afternoon. On future track, the cloudy skies, keeping temperatures into the upper 30s for tonight. But tomorrow, the sunshine will bring temperatures up into the 50s, even though winds will be out of the north. And notice some 60s, or at least close to 60 out toward the Mississippi River. Tomorrow night, winds die down, temperatures in the mid-30s, but then those winds start eventually shifting around to a westerly direction, especially in the western part of the state. And by Saturday afternoon, we're looking for high temperatures eventually in the middle 50s or middle 60s. 7 to 10 day forecast, 72 for a high on Easter Sunday. Just a slight chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Some showers cooler on Monday, and then temperatures about 60 for Tuesday and Wednesday, and then a warm up toward the end of next week. As we take a look at first alert traffic right now, Beltline looking pretty slow in both directions. This is the view at Park Street. You can see stop and go traffic in the eastbound direction and the westbound direction, not much better. The delays on the eastbound Beltline start around Monona Drive and go back to west of Verona Road. Westbound looks like we're seeing some off and on delays from Verona Road through Fish Hatchery Road and then back to about West Broadway. Right now, 38 minutes on the eastbound Beltline from University Avenue to the interstate, 20 minutes back in the westbound direction, and heading out of Madison, the usual 26 minutes down to Janesville on I-3990, 19 minutes to Sauk City on US 12, and 19 minutes to Sun Prairie on East Washington Avenue, US 151. That's your News 3 Now First Alert Traffic.
Gary, thanks.
20 years since Columbine, and some victims and families are still struggling. How some survivors have channeled their pain into action. That's ahead at 5. Saturday marks 20 years since one of the most shocking killing sprees in America, the massacre at Columbine High School.
It was the deadliest high school shooting in U.S. history at the time and sparked national debates about gun control, bullying, and violence. Kenneth Craig returned to Littleton, Colorado, and talked with a student who survived about her long road to recovery.
You're different after you go through something like this. You're not the same person.
Amy Over is 2 decades into what she describes as a journey, a continuous emotional struggle after surviving the mass shooting during her senior year at Columbine High School.
That was your last day of school, right?
That was my last day of school. I just wanted to forget it, that it ever happened.
12 of Amy's classmates were killed, as well as her basketball coach, Dave Sanders, when 2 seniors opened fire inside the school. Amy credits her coach for saving her life, telling her when to run out the front door amid a hail of gunfire.
I didn't start my therapy journey until after I had my daughter.
And what happened?
I dropped her off at kindergarten and or pre-kindergarten, and I had a panic attack. I had panic attacks, chronic panic attacks, for about 2 years.
Wow.
Debilitating panic attacks.
Intensive therapy has tackled her trauma and survivor's guilt, and so has her work on the Rebels Project, an organization formed by Columbine survivors to help victims of other mass shootings.
It just makes you feel that, you know, you're not alone in this fight, you know? Me and some of my best friends from basketball.
Amy still keeps a box of memories from Columbine, a complicated time capsule of some of her brightest days.
Like this basketball hat right here that I made out of a basketball. And I wore it on my head.
And some of her darkest.
All my graduation cards have thoughts and prayers. Thoughts are with you.
Today, she lives with her husband and 2 children not far from Littleton.
We still have open wounds, invisible wounds that that people can't see, and we're still fighting our own demons and our own battles. I've come a really long way.
Amy says she's slowly moving forward in a healing process that may last a lifetime. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Parker, Colorado.
Stay with us. We'll have another check your forecast in just a moment.
Here's a look at some of the stories we are working on tonight. A comprehensive look at the Mueller report released today, what it means for the president, reactions from Capitol Hill, and what's next in Congress. Plus, 20 years after the shootings at Columbine High, 5 survivors share their stories. Tonight on the CBS Evening News.
It's chilly outside tonight.
It is. The clouds have a lot to do with it, but really not seeing any precipitation out there with those clouds. Temperatures, though, mid-40s right now in Madison. That's only 1 degree above our low temperature for the day. Out to the west, a little bit milder as start getting a few peaks of sun west of La Crosse. But the winds are also kind of brisk out of the north. For tomorrow, though, sunshine comes back. It'll still be windy, high of 57, 65 Saturday, and 72 on Easter Sunday with a slight chance of an afternoon thunderstorm. Rest of next week, temperatures a little cool for Tuesday and Wednesday, but generally quiet, at least as far as weather systems are concerned, and pretty comfortable toward the end of the week.
All right, Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us. We're back with more updates in 30 minutes on News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.